of the challenges right now is economies of scale, frankly. And so with a high-rise project, you're looking at land assembly of several adjacent properties. To be able to afford to buy up the size of properties or assemble the number of properties, you need a certain amount of capital, which means you're a certain type of well-financed organization, pension fund, REIT. You're now looking at trying to maximize return in a market that has a level of risk and a timeline in which you're paying holding costs on that land. And every development project in the world is an Excel spreadsheet fundamentally. And if the Excel spreadsheet says that there's a time that will take X, then the holding cost over that time period, the upfront land and complexity of assembling, it all creates this situation where you're trying to maximize your extraction of value from the amount of land that you've assembled. And in an alternative reality, if we will, if we start to change certain things around, how long does it take? Can I make something that's efficient on a smaller amount of land? Then we can start to unlock a very different type of development industry, one which doesn't require as much upfront capital, one which has a lot more smaller players rather than a few really big ones, one which actually maybe is less risky because you're doing smaller deals, one in which the types of housing you're providing may not be oriented at an investor that never actually lives in it, but is more so targeted towards end users. And so there's there's two sides to this. There's the piece of what we want that city to look like in the end because we think it's a better housing, but also the types of financiers and the thinking behind how it is developed and who benefits in that process of creation is also fundamentally different with a kind of missing middle mid-rise scale of things. And what's been interesting, of course, is that for the last decade, there was a kind of condo boom in Toronto, and our financial instruments and our land use policies and our appeals processes, all of it was tinkered towards that. But with the change that we've seen in interest rates, with the shift towards rental housing supply, with the death of the condo market, this report could not possibly come out at a better time.